the City of Gretna for joining us, along with State Representatives Connick, Lyons, and Marino. We're going to have a number of speakers today to talk about infrastructure concerns in Jefferson Parish. And of course, right now, I guess the new information we want to put out is that we are now at 100% pump capacity. We were at 99%. The one pump we had down in the Lafitte area is now back operational, so we're at 100% pump capacity. That means 184 pumps at our 69 pump stations are now working. Our 287 drainage employees are still out on the streets making sure we're cleaning catch basins throughout all of Jefferson Parish. We have over 80,000 catch basins. As of this point, since the beginning of the year, we have cleaned 35,000 catch basins. And since this event has been announced roughly in the past 24 to 36 hours, we've cleaned over 2,500 catch basins. Of course, our storage department is going to be ready pending any power outages to make sure they're moving key generators around to lift stations so we don't have any storage backups with potential power outages tonight. But to give us a full weather brief, I'd like to turn that over to our Emergency Operations Director, Lieutenant Joe Valiente.
Good afternoon, everyone. So we began monitoring the system once we became aware of it from the National Weather Service, and we realized that it was going to be a potential threat to the Gulf Coast. So at this time, the storm is maintaining its track that was anticipated. It's just headed toward the northwest. Looks like it's going to make landfall somewhere along the Mississippi coastline around the Gulfport area. The National Weather Service has told us to prepare for winds between 35 and 45 miles an hour with some gusts going up to 55, possibly to 60, starting later this afternoon into this evening and through tonight and tomorrow morning. We're also expecting a little bit less rain from what we're being told, possibly 1 to 3 inches, but it will be tropical storm weather, so it'll come in bands. So if we get caught in one of these bands that stalls out or trains over us, we can expect as much as 7 inches of rain. Beyond that, we know that the ground's been saturated for the last 10 days, and there's going to be a tremendous amount of runoff from the ground, whatever rain does fall onto the streets. We can expect some localized street flooding, but in between the bands and the slow periods, the pumps will be able to catch up and drop that level down back to the street. The other thing that we're concerned about is our trees and the potential for trees to get toppled or for branches that are now heavy from the excessive rain and have soaked up all this water. They could break, possibly bringing down power lines, which will cause power outages. So our concerns right now are focusing on downed trees, limbs, and dealing with the power outages that occur. We will activate the EOC at 4 p.m. and will remain on duty until tomorrow morning or until the threat passes us. And I think that it will be determined by how fast the storm continues to move once it makes landfall. Thank you.
A couple things to note. Garbage collection will continue as scheduled tomorrow. Our bus system will have its normal schedule also, Jeff Transit and the RTA. Our EOC number, for those people that may have any problems during the night, 349-5360. And our Public Works After Hours line, which is a number that you should always have because it's manned 24/7 even when we're not in a normal event, 736-6006. Next up is Entergy, Mr. Patrick Hamby.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Patrick Hamby on behalf of Entergy Louisiana. First and foremost, I'd like to assure our customers and our neighbors that Entergy is prepared. Entergy prepares for these types of events 365 days a year. We've been preparing for this particular event for the last few days. What we've gone through is we've gotten with multiple levels of management from the top down to our crews, and we've gone through a multitude of preparation checklists. These include ensuring that we have adequate levels of restoration personnel. At this point, we have approximately 1,000 workers on standby, ready to restore power if needed. We've also moved equipment to higher ground, and we've installed flood protection measures around stationary equipment such as substations and flood-prone areas to protect them against floodwaters as well. Entergy will maintain a constant contact with state, parish, and local officials throughout this event. We will also provide updates to our customers via a variety of venues on our View Outage webpage, our Storm Center app, as well as social media. Regardless of what impacts this storm ultimately brings to our area, Entergy will stay true to its mantra: we are prepared for the worst and hoping for the best for everyone. Thank you.
And next up, we have our Levy District East, Mr. Derek Bays.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to assure everybody that the levee system, not only in East Jefferson, but throughout the region, is in excellent condition. We are finalizing our checks this afternoon, as we do before every event. By the end of this afternoon, we'll have closed 45 floodgates throughout the region, plus 3 large sector gates, all in St. Bernard Parish. We're very confident in the ability to withstand whatever may come our way, and we're looking forward to the next challenge, which we anticipate being tonight. We'll watch the storm. We have emergency crews on standby and ready to tackle whatever. Thank you.
And of course, I wish we could have had this gentleman with us in early January or February when we had the freezes, because in DeSoto Parish, our superintendent knew what to do with freezes. Now he's dealing with a new element to his job, hurricanes. Our superintendent of public schools, Dr. Kate Brumley.
Thank you. So our first and top responsibility is the safety of our students and our employees. Yesterday afternoon, we made the call to not have school today, not because we were concerned that we would not be able to get kids to school and have a productive school day. Our concern was the fact that we were unsure about getting kids home and the ability to get kids home, not having a certain path and estimation on wind gusts in the afternoon. So we've already went ahead and we've made the call to not have school for tomorrow as well. Again, you might think tomorrow could be a very nice day, but the problem is early morning when the wind gusts could still be up, and also the fact that our schools were unsure what the conditions of our buildings might be in the morning. We're unsure about electrical conditions. We'll be sending kids and employees to dark schools, and we can't do that. So we have days built in our calendar for events such as this. So our schools will be out tomorrow. We'll have both school-based people and district-based operations staff at our buildings tomorrow to assess those buildings, to prepare them for a normal start on Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Brumley. And of course, parish government will be open tomorrow at 8:30 unless anything happens overnight that we have to put that message out that hours will be shifted. But right now we plan on our normal working hours at 8. Some departments start at 8 and others at 8:30, but we'll be back to normal working hours. Should something happen, we'll certainly put out a press release. Or please follow us on Facebook at our Jefferson Parish page. Our Twitter, we're going to be putting out information through the night, through this duration, and that is certainly a great way for us to know what's happening in areas where things are happening or things are evolving or power outages are occurring, and we can work with the emergency management staff here. Parish government did shut down today, just now at 2 o'clock. However, our essential personnel, our drainage department, our line rehab crews, and our streets department are still in full force, doing everything they can to clean our drainage catch basins. We have 80,000 catch basins in Jefferson Parish and over 1,469 miles of drain lines. So they're going to do everything they can to continue cleaning those drain lines so that we can handle whatever comes our way. Obviously, as it's been mentioned, wind is a big factor in this storm, and we'll do everything we can to deal with the wind element, clearing streets for Entergy to get through to restore that. Obviously, with the 30-mile-an-hour, that's when they have to come down with the bucket trucks and can't go up, so they have to wait for those winds to subside to be able to restore power. So should we have power outages in Jefferson, we just ask our residents to be patient. Entergy is there. Their forces are mobilized. They've been working with Public Service Commissioner Scrimetta, and they'll do everything they can to have power restored as quickly as possible. We'll now open up for any comments or questions. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any plans or concerns for the areas in the lower part of Jefferson outside of the federal flood protection system, or any message for those residents?
Well, again, there's a voluntary evacuation in effect for Grand Isle. We've been working with Mayor Carmodell and Grand Isle and Mayor Kerner and Lafitte for those lower-lying areas. Mayor Kerner reported that over the past events, he's probably stocked up over 5,000 sandbags. And should the wind shift, they'll be making sure they sandbag those areas that are prone to flooding. I believe this event is going to come in at low tide, which is actually better for us should any wind shift or push water in that direction, and we should be able to sustain it very well.
with the strong winds that are expected, we've got some people wondering if there could be a possible curfew or what wind speed could that be implemented?
No, no curfews in effect. You know, we've been having conference calls with the sheriff's office and all of our law enforcement agencies that you know, we're going to continue monitoring it, and if we have to get that message out, we'll push that message out later today.
You mentioned, the gentleman from Entergy mentioned that, you know, they've got staff ready to roll. You mentioned also that there was concerns about, you know, the winds and the trees going down. Have any preventative measures been taken regarding trees to try to reduce that possibility? And what wind speed would you have to, you know, wait for it to come down to before you get out there and start restoring power?
Well, obviously 30 miles an hour is where they don't put buckets up, so it'd have to be under 30 miles an hour. And I will say this, and I'll let Patrick add anything he'd like to. I have seen and worked with Entergy since I've been in office 3 years, and even when I was mayor of Kenner, and I have seen more preventative maintenance by Entergy on tree trimming, pole replacement, line replacement than I've seen in years past. I mean, they've certainly stepped their game up, and that's even with them reducing our Entergy rates because of the hurricane restoration bill being reduced. So that's a good thing. But I realize they realize that they have a lot to do to keep power flowing in Jefferson Parish. It's 430,000 plus residents that they have to get power to. Obviously, this is one of their biggest customer bases, and they certainly treat us like that. And they've done a great job as far as preventative maintenance. Doesn't mean we're not going to have the occasional pole snap because of a small wind event that we get when we get these small rains with heavy wind gusts that happen. But I'll let Patrick add to that.
Sure. To answer your question specifically around vegetation, we have a 3-year vegetation trim cycle here in Jefferson Parish, and in some places it's even accelerated more than that within the parish, depending on tree growth, the type of tree it is, so on and so forth. You will notice crews out there today until those winds reach that speed of 30 miles an hour, trimming the lines, making sure that we're walking down every power line, looking for any proactive issue that we can find. So, yes, we'll be out there as long as we can.
Will you just remind viewers of the ordinance out there about driving through standing water? What could possibly happen if they do that?
Oh, that's certainly something enforceable by all law enforcement agencies, our sheriff's office, along with all the municipal law enforcement agencies, to making sure that people don't kick up a wake. I mean, we don't foresee a lot of flooded streets in this event based on the amount of rain we should get in the short period of time we should get it, but obviously there is no tolerance for that, and law enforcement will enforce that law for kicking that wake up and potentially flooding people's homes. I can assure you, I know that vividly because former Kenner Police Chief, my CAA, Steve Caraway, is here, and Joe Valiente was NOPD, so they take that very seriously and work with our Sheriff's Office to make sure that's enforced. Any other questions? Well, God willing, we get through this event as safely as possible. We ask all of our residents to be very safe, to watch down power lines, stay away from them, report them as quickly to us so we can convey that message to Entergy, or you can contact Entergy directly. But remember our EOC line, 349-5360, and of course that'll be manned throughout all this event. And our Public Works After Hours line, 736-6006. And again, garbage collection will be a normal collection on your normal pickup days as the week continues, along with Jeff Transit and RTA will be on their normal schedule. So that's important for our residents trying to get to and from work. So we hope to get through this event with very minimal damage. Thank you very much for attending.